Hi, shalom and greetings from Jerusalem, Jane. I just recorded a video that I submitted to Jerusalem Post where I have a blog. I don't know how busy they are, if and when that blog is going to come out. So I'm also going to upload this video update and just share it on all my social media platform. And if and when the other one comes out on Jerusalem Post, I will share it. Today, as I was just finishing up brushing my teeth and making my bed, all of a sudden you hear that sound that every time you hear it, it's like, what's that? But you know what it is, but you're like, am I hearing right? And yes, I was hearing right, because I quickly ran to my balcony and I realized that the siren was blasting here in Jerusalem. So you know me by now. I never run to my bomb shelter. I have a small bomb shelter, but I grabbed my phone and then I ran on my balcony and I filmed. So once again, the vile Houthis in Yemen tried to wipe out the Jewish state, to kill Jewish babies and Holocaust survivors when they are firing these massive ballistic missiles into Israel. So I just, filmed, and I couldn't really see much for the sun, but then all of a sudden I could hear and I could see the missile and the interception. So I hope you could see that on the video that I shared with all of you. Let me share a little bit of a secret with you, because living here in Israel, you never will and you never should just get used to, oh, this was just another ballistic missile. I looked, as I stepped out to my balcony, I could see some people were running for their lives, and that's exactly what we are doing. We are running for our lives. And it looks like tourists, t-shirts, shorts, sandals, and they were running over here to the big hotel. So all of a sudden these tourists found themselves in code red, missile alert attack. The difference is when you're being warned and when you're not being warned, because the Home Front Command a couple of months ago came up with a new system. So they are sending out a missile alert warning. The IDF has detected an incoming missile and you now have a minute and a half to find shelter. So you're prepared, if you're in bed, you can get dressed and grab your toddlers and run to bomb shelter. Or, if you're in a car, you need to pull over and get out of the car. If you are not dressed like me, you need to get dressed and all of that. And then you are mentally prepared just for split seconds that this is what's gonna come. But today, because I was doing my daily chores, I didn't hear the alerts. I probably, my phone was in here in my living room. I was just brushing my teeth and then I made my bed. So I didn't hear it. So there's a difference. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's a difference when you're prepared for it and when you're not prepared for it. But like I said, I filmed, and this was one of the times where I saw it. That has actually only happened twice recently, where I actually had a handyman in my house. And that's, I had also not heard the notification, but all of a sudden the red alert went off and we ran to my balcony and I filmed and we were watching the interception. So that's what happened here today in Jerusalem and in large part of Israel. It's not even 12 hours ago when it happened the first time. I had just woken up at 3 a.m. and then the red alert went off on my phone, and I'm looking at my phone and I can see all the red alerts are coming in. It didn't reach all the way to Jerusalem last night, but again, the vile Houthis in Yemen was firing towards Ben Gurion airport, and people in Tel Aviv and in that whole area were running for their lives to bomb shelters. So my windows are open, it's hot. So I was lying in bed at 3 a.m., but I could hear the loud explosions from the interception. And you have to understand, when you're waking up in the middle of the night with your babies and all of that, and not everybody has a minute and a half. That's what I have here before it happens. So that's twice that these vile Houthis in Yemen has fired big ballistic missiles toward Israel. Now imagine for a second, if we was able to take them down, the casualties every time. And it's not even a month ago since where one of them fell through and it landed in the vicinity of Ben Gurion Airport. And that is what the vile Houthis are attempting to do. They want to shut down, they want to isolate the Jewish state, they want to punish the Jews for defending themselves against the modern day Nazis with the operation that we have inside Gaza. Unfortunately, as many of you know, because you were planning on coming to Israel, foreign airlines have stopped flying. They are not coming because of the interruptions with these missiles flying in and out. And of course, you never know when. So many airlines, unfortunately, are not flying, and many of you have had to cancel coming here to Israel. So that's the reality right now. And yesterday, actually, Palestinian Islamic Jihad was firing rockets from Gaza. First one rocket that was intercepted, and then 3 rockets were fired from inside Gaza, but they fell short inside Gaza. They didn't reach Israel. And now in less than 12 hours, 2 ballistic missiles was hammering in from the vile Houthis in Yemen. So I was awake during the night from this ballistic missile attack. I fell asleep. I only slept a couple of hours. And then I woke up to some horrendous, horrific, heartbreaking news coming out of America that a young Jewish couple, Yaron Lipsinski, I think that's how you say it, and Sarah Milgram, they were attending a Jewish event at the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, was brutally murdered by a pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas terrorist who shot them point blank as they were exiting this museum and had attended that event in Washington, D.C. Look at this young, beautiful couple, brutally murdered for no other reason than being Jewish. And then it came out that he had purchased an engagement ring, and he was planning on actually proposing to Sarah when they came to Israel. He was planning on proposing here in Jerusalem next week, but instead now their families have to bury these young people in their 20s, and they were actually staff members. They were working at the Israeli embassy in America. So these were 2 staff members of the Israeli embassies who were brutally murdered. So the flags down the road where the foreign ministry is went to half mast today to honor these victims, and the Prime Minister has ordered increased security at Israeli missions and Israeli embassies around the world. So in less than 12 hours, 2 ballistic missiles from Yemen and a young Jewish couple brutally murdered by a pro-Hamas terrorist in Washington, D.C. 2 young people, a young couple in love, a young couple who was supposed to get engaged next week, brutally murdered for being Jewish. So that's what we are dealing with here in Israel. I want to say that people are asking me on and off, can you come to Israel? Is it safe to be in Israel? Well, you just saw what happened now. I just saw tourists running for their lives over here, but thank God for the IDF and our missile defense system. We can't live in fear. I'm not going to lie. Living here after all the things that we have been through, even before October 7, when all the Nazis in Hamas have fired more than 50,000 rockets into Israel, they have sent in arson kites and burning Israel, wanted to burn Israel down. And every time we have a terror attack in Israel, all the so-called innocent civilians in Gaza are out handing out sweet and candies and celebrate the murder of yet another Jew. Every summer, Hamas had 50,000 children in Gaza in military boot camp, the next generations of terrorists learning how to murder the Jews. So these are all the innocents that the world is screaming about, that is starving in Gaza now. Not so innocent, the one who elected Hamas, who supported Hamas. Many of them took part in the looting and the plundering on October 7. They breached into Israel. They have taken part in holding the hostages, spitting, cursing the hostages, cheering in the street when hostages was being paraded on October 7. Not so innocent. So that's the reality. I will never tell people not to come to Israel. I will never tell you not to travel to Israel. God is saying, comfort my people. I will bless those that bless Israel, and I will curse those that curse Israel. There are still airlines flying to Israel. Of course, there's always these Israeli airlines. You can still come to Israel, and you can make a difference. You can really make a difference. You can be such an encouragement to the Jewish people. I feel happiness inside when I watch tourists coming here to Israel at this time. And you just have to realize that Israel is being attacked on numerous fronts with all of these savages who want to eradicate the Jewish people off the face of the earth. And once in a while there's a ballistic missile and you just need to take cover. But you can't live in fear. You can't live in fear at all. If you're afraid, well, stay away. But if you say, you know what, I'm going to travel, and God, you're going to protect me, and I'm going to travel to Israel, and I'm going to be an encouragement for the Jewish people for such a time as this, and God, I count on that you are protecting me and blessing me. Well, come and be that encouragement to the Jewish people that they can really need. The industry, the hotels, the tour operators, the tour guides, the bus companies have lost so many millions and millions and millions because the tourists are not here. It's the biggest industry here in Israel, so many people are suffering tremendously because the tourists are not here. So I really, really want to encourage you for such a time as this to come and to set your feet, walk in the Holy Land, the land of the Bible, and being encouragement, and spend your Deutsch franc and your euros and your dollars and whatever currency you have, and come and be a blessing to Israel and the Jewish people. So from my heart, I'm sending my deepest condolences to the families of this young couple who now, instead of having a big engagement party here in Jerusalem next week with our families and friends, all of these people are now going to come together for the funeral of this beautiful young couple who was brutally murdered by this pro-Hamas terrorist in Washington, D.C. last night after attending a Jewish event at a museum. So for such a time as this, we will always stand with Israel. We will bless Israel. We will encourage the Jewish people. And for all of you who possibly can, book your plane ticket and come and walk in the Holy Land and be a blessing and encouragement for such a time as this. Bye.